so look, y'all. So Johnny Football. If you don't know who Johnny Football is, Johnny Manziel, known to be maybe the greatest college quarterback of all time. Until that boy got off on that coke, that Casamigos, that goddamn Don Julio, that Don, that baby Don, man, the big Don, the little Don. Boy, they say he was sipping, snorting, and shooting up everything you could think of. Then waking up in the morning time and blue 42, throwing for 400 yards on an 86% completion rate and no INTs. Probably some of the craziest shit we'd have never heard of, okay? But today we're watching how he destroyed his own career.
Trophy winner Johnny Manziel's summer in a lot of ways. Low key would not be one of them.
Watching other guys that are doing what I want to be doing, and I'm sitting on the couch being a loser.
A motherfucker comes up to you and says, yo, I got $5,000 for you to do something. I got $12.99 in my bank account. Fuck you think I'm going to say? And now where the bread at? So if the NCAA bank account. A motherfucker comes up to you and says, yo, I got $5,000 for you to do something. I got $12.99 in my bank account. Fuck you think I'm going to say?
Yes. Everybody got a price, gang. Well, it depends what the fuck. Oh, what did this nigga do? Hold on.
And now where the bread at? So if the NCAA wants to take a 9-4 season away and my Chick-fil-A bowl against Duke, fucking below me.
I feel like I'm watching some illegal shit.
Johnny Manziel was, and I told you his life story, you would think he was a fictional character in a book or movie. A lot of people, and maybe even you watching this, you know the basic information. He was a great and super talented quarterback that couldn't hold his act together off the field. Therefore, consequently enough, just as quickly as he rose to the top, he fell even faster. Whoa, 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 hold on. We gotta stop right there because I want you to know it is much, much more than that. Most stop right
there. Malcolm in the middle looking at that nigga. Bro, hey, how tall was, what's it called? Johnny Manziel, he was like 5'8".
I want you to know it is much, and I mean much more than that. Most of you know I'm a big and avid college football fan.
I'm thinking about walking on and using my 4 years. Oh, he was only 5'10"? Shit, I might go use my 4 years, bro.
About Manziel, but it still took me nearly 2 to 3 weeks worth of research. It got to the point where I wasn't just overwhelmed with the major controversies in Manziel's life.
Now, as a real alcoholic gang, that's an Ace of Spades bottle. That, all I'm saying is I don't know how much they paid him for this, but he was just talking about having $5 in his account, bro. That's a $500 bottle, Johnny.
It was the minor stuff too. He almost didn't even get to play in his Heisman winning season for Texas A&M because he got into a bar fight before the year even began. When the police showed up to the bar, he handed them not 1 but 2 fake IDs. He got really lucky and got out of that. Then after he won the Heisman, he was signing illegal autographs. That was a big controversy.
Wait.
After he won the Heisman, he was signing illegal autographs. That was a big controversy we'll touch on later in the video, and Johnny Manziel actually talks about it, and I'll show you.
Hey, so far I like Johnny, bro. It sounds to me like if you don't give a flying F about nothing.
Those clips. How about this one? Going into his sophomore year, he was invited to the Manning Passing Academy, which is a prestigious honor for any quarterback, and he got kicked out. There was also
for what?
When he rented out a house in LA and he caused $32,000 worth of damages. When it was time for Manziel to check out of the place he rented, he didn't check out, so the guy that owned it wanted to see what's going on. A couple hours after the checkout time, the guy went into the house and said this, quote unquote, Manziel was passed out, there was cocaine all over the kitchen table, and mushrooms are still out on the table in front of him. There was booze everywhere, broken glass all over the floor, and champagne glass, and a tree. Yeah, let's just say that Johnny Football, he wasn't exactly your...
So, wait. You tell me niggas doing this on a Friday night, then Saturday. You know how great Johnny maybe could have been if he was sober? Not even maybe.
Ideal guest for a house. There was also an incident where he reportedly hit his girlfriend so hard in the ear that she ruptured an eardrum and couldn't hear out of her left ear. When he was in the NFL, the Browns named him as a starting quarterback. That was up until he got caught lying. There was a video of Manziel partying and drinking, and the Browns saw it and they asked him about it, and he lied to them and said that was from an older date. When in reality, it wasn't from an older date, it was around the same time. It goes even farther than that. The people who filmed the video, Johnny told him to lie to the Browns if they asked him about it. Can't forget to throw this in there. The night before the final game, not the day, the literal night, he was out gambling and at a bar. It's
Johnny Manziel seen in Las Vegas bar night before Browns final game. I mean, to be fair, bro, what was the Browns season record that season? When was the last time the Browns were good, guy? Like, if it came out Shador has been sipping every single night, I wouldn't even be mad at him. Now, I'm not saying he should do it or that's right or wrong, but, dude, come on, man. It's the Browns.
Started to get so bad that his own father called him a druggie. It didn't just stop there. His dad added to it and said, I hate to say it, but I hope he goes to jail. I mean, that would be the best place for him.
There was 2-13? See, okay, so this is like a James Harden situation. The only difference is James Harden was out there, like, busting ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? Was Johnny hooping? He couldn't have been. Nobody would have gave a fuck. That's how this shit goes.
So we'll see. When your own dad says the best place for you is in jail, I think we can all agree you got some major problems. Everyone knew things were at an all-time low when his dad said this. I truly believe if they can't get him help, he won't live to see his 24th birthday. Ladies and gentlemen, everything I just told you, and it's a lot, it's not everything, and that's the crazy part about his story. I just went over the high points, and as interesting as his life story is during his football career, it's even more mysterious after. Even though at the time he didn't have the mindset and the attitude to play in the NFL, I think if he really worked...
Imagine your dad wishing jail on you. I don't think... You gotta think he's not doing it from a point of view like, damn, I hope that little nigga go to jail. Fuck him. It's more like, he just said he don't think he's going to make it to his 24th B-Day. So he probably looking at it from the perspective of, damn, jail could be the only way he could sober up and put down whatever the hell it is that's fucking him up.
He could play in the NFL today. I'm not saying he's going to get that opportunity or chance. I'm saying if he worked at it, he is talented enough to be on a roster.
Yeah, he's saying like jail will clean him up.
He's came out and said he doesn't even want to pursue a football career or go back to the NFL.
I think for a while is what I was put here to do, and now I don't believe that, so I don't want to play. I don't think it's truly what I'm put here to do. So that's what I've been trying to figure it out.
That's crazy.
And see what I want to do. And I don't know what that is still.
Johnny, bro, like, no BS. That's what you was put here to. I mean, I ain't going to say that. I ain't the creator. But, you know, like, whenever somebody says I'm not put here to do something, and it's like, okay, it didn't end up working out because unforeseen circumstances happen. Like, that's one thing. It's like, okay, I get that. But then, come on, bro. Come on, boy.
No,
that's crazy.
We know why you wasn't in the league.
See what I want to do. And I don't know what that is still.
When I say there are so many questions about Johnny Football that are lingering around till this day. But however, it all circles back to the main question we're going to try to figure out in today's video. What
Blame
really
his hand?
happened to Johnny Manziel?
One thing I will say, though, like him on, what's that podcast called? It be him, Ocho Cinco, and Shannon Sharp. They added him to it. That is fire. It's fire. I like their content together, all three of them.
Real quick, before we get into this video, we're on the road to 200K.
Late night cap.
Join the channel if you enjoy the content.
They put them on late night cap. So
also drop a like if you enjoy it. Now, without further ado, let's get into it.
All right, let's see. Road to 200,000 likes.
Johnny Football, man, oh man, even till this day, when I hear the name or think about him, I don't think of all the bad stuff that happened. I think of a quarterback who was dynamic, electric, exciting, and whatever word you want to use. When I think of Johnny Manziel, there's one game and one play in particular that sticks out to me.
Against
and
Bama?
Even he agrees with it. It completely changed his life. The game I'm referring to is against Alabama. Going into it, yeah, he was a good quarterback in the SEC, and he was having a good year, but nobody really knew who he was.
Like as a permanent host, well, specifically on Saturdays, I like his commentary after the college football games.
His life literally changed within the span of 4 hours. When he went into Tuscaloosa, Alabama, he was a kid that nobody even talked about. And then 4 hours later, when he left the stadium, he was already a Heisman frontrunner, and he was trending on every social media platform, and Drake and LeBron were messaging him and hanging out with him. That's what I like to call the Alabama.
Damn! That's what beating Saban to do for you? Motherfuckers jump out the bushes sucking that meat, man.
You're a quarterback and you beat them, that's going to
How
be your
good
Heisman
was
moment.
Bama that year?
Look at what Cam Newton, he did the same thing. Doesn't even stop there. LSU's quarterback, he had his Heisman moment against Bama, and I'm talking about Joe Burrow. The list goes on and on. Now, Joe Burrow,
that was a good game, bro.
Famous and big names
that Joe
before,
Burrow game was a
Johnny
good
Manziel,
game.
That was the ultimate Bama.
I'd never seen the A&M
the
one.
play I'm talking about that sticks out to me was against Bama when he bumped into an offensive lineman, fumbled the ball. It looked like he got sacked, and then he flicked it out to a wide open receiver, and it was magical. I remember watching it live, and there was two things that ran through my mind. Number one.
You said Drake a professional athlete, dick sucker? Who was the last most famous athlete? And let me see if Drake was like popped up out of nowhere with him. Who popping right now in college football? Arnell Tate? J. Smith? I think Drake retired, gang. He gave that shit up. That was like the old him. Nobody? Boy, you must don't know, gang. That nigga said nobody. Boy, you crazy as hell.
Trouble. And number two, who is this kid? You could tell there was something about him that was different from other quarterbacks. In the early 2010s, this is when Alabama had one of the best defenses in the country.
Caldwell, your time has come, my boy.
So it wasn't exactly normal for a quarterback to go into Alabama's home stadium and not be scared. He was playing with supreme confidence, and I think that shook Alabama's defense and even Nick Saban. I can't remember how it goes, but it's something like, you can be too dumb for your own good. Which means if you don't have experience and you're a young guy like Johnny Football was, you may not come to the terms with, hey, I'm not supposed to win this game. Maybe that wasn't a good example. Let me give you a better perspective. It's kind of like if you're about to attempt something dangerous, but you don't know it's dangerous. Therefore, you don't have the fear about it. That was Johnny Manziel going into Tuscaloosa. Ultimately, he would lead A&M to an upset victory, and that was the game.
Is Johnny Manziel an airhead, bro? Because they making it sound like he was just like ignorant. Like in the sense of he ain't know how hard of a team he was facing. He don't care about nothing. He's just going out there throwing the ball, making good plays afterwards, cracking open a 40 and having a good time. Like, that's how they making it sound.
That started everything.
He sound like one? Bro, every time I hear him in an interview, like like Late Night Cap the other day, at least when he's sober, he don't sound stupid. He ain't one study, he ain't watched film. But say he ain't want to study, watch film, or BS in practice.
Whoa. Hold on. I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself. We got to throw it back to where things really started. Before Manziel would upset Alabama, before he was...
I don't believe he was dumb, bro. You know how hard it is to be a quarterback? Like, it take a certain amount of IQ.
Star in high school. Coming from a small town in Texas known as Kerrville, he was lighting it up. Weirdly enough, though, a little fun fact about
he from
him,
Texas?
when he made the varsity team as a freshman, he didn't play quarterback. He was a wide receiver. His first year at quarterback in high school wasn't like how it was his first year in college. He wasn't even the starting quarterback. He was playing part-time here and there, and he had 11 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, but he also had 15 rushing touchdowns. It wasn't up until his junior year when things really started to take off and get to a whole nother level. As a junior, he combined for 55 total touchdowns, and this is when all the colleges around the country, they started to offer him. Most of his offers and most of his recruitment was out west, schools like Baylor, Colorado State, Iowa State, Oregon, Rice, and Stanford. There was one school
Bro, imagine,
and he was actually committed there at one point in time, and that was Oregon. It seemed like...
Is that the girl from Victorious? Bro, imagine, man, boy, Johnny Manziel, you missed out on the NIL money. Shit, boy, you could have bought a lifetime supply of crack, gang. Not that I'm saying that's what you would have did with the money, but man, they would have paid you, bro.
Done deal. He was going to go there and be the next great Oregon quarterback, but then he changed his mind. Heading into his senior season, there's not much to say. It was outstanding once again. He threw for 3,600 yards, had 45 touchdowns to only 5 interceptions.
Yeah, what they would have gave him
M's. 3,600 passing yards. He also had 1,600.
Hey, if Shador was driving around in a Rolls Royce Cullinan, Johnny Manziel could have probably bought a jet.
74 rushing yards. Remember, he had 44 passing touchdowns, but he also added 30 more on the ground. If you can't do simple math, that means
he would have moved to Thailand.
4 total touchdowns in 1 year. Oh,
boy, he ain't that crazy.
Enough? Well, how about this? He also caught a touchdown as a receiver, so he had 75.
Damn.
75 touchdowns in one single season. Do I have to say anything about that? I'm not too sure if you could put those numbers in a video game. There was so much hype around him, at least in the Texas area, as a high school quarterback, that people from Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio would drive hours just to see him play. I don't know if he could do too much better. He had 75 total touchdowns to only 5 interceptions, and yet he was still only regarded as...
Bro, lock in, bro. Just watch the video,
dude.
Why
they only ranked him as a 3-star. He was only roughly 6 foot and 200 pounds. He wasn't short, but for the quarterback position, he was somewhat undersized. He also had that reckless play style, and he wasn't that pro quarterback that scouts like to see. With that being said, I don't want you to get confused. Being a 3-star recruit is still unbelievable. It's just not as prestigious, and it doesn't look as good as a 4 or 5-star. While his senior year was currently going on, he had a big
Kyler Murray
coming up.
clears.
That visit was with Texas A&M. I want you to keep in mind that while he was going on
And
this
does
visit,
he?
he was still committed to Oregon. I know what you may be sitting there thinking, yo Matt, why was this one so big? Why was it bigger than any of the other 10 or 20 visits he went on? There's one answer to that, and it's fairly simple. Texas A&M is close to his family, and he wants to play where his family can come see his games.
I know it's real important for you and your family to see you play on every Saturday. Is that also going to play a big factor? Is that proximity after you get all your answers, tomorrow on your visit?
I mean, it's going to have to be a very good visit, and that's for sure. I mean, it's going to take a lot to sway me from Oregon, but first and foremost, I mean, my parents have been there through thick and thin, paid a lot of money for me to get to where I am as an athlete today, and they deserve to get to watch me every Saturday. So, I mean, if they can't, then that's going to be something that factors in with my decision. So, definitely going to be looking at that.
I guess you could say his visit at A&M, it went pretty good, because he would then switch his commitment over from Oregon to Texas.
Wait, A&M is in the SEC? Wow. For real? Nigga, who the fuck has A&M beat this year?
Texas A&M. When he got to A&M, let's just say that things didn't get off to a hot start.
Yeah, this is my redshirt freshman year. First chance to get get any reps, get some playing time, anything in the spring. Had as about of abysmal fucking spring as you could have. Throwing picks all day in practice, can't run around, can't do my thing, just feel cooped up. In the spring, 4th on the depth chart, not even close to having a chance to compete for the starting job, just fucking struggling.
As you heard right there from the man, the myth, the legend himself,
Damn.
He was listed as the 4th-string quarterback, and he was playing terrible. As bad as that sounds, it gets worse. So while he's listed as the 4th-string quarterback, he goes out to a bar and he has one too many drinks. I get it. He's a young guy in college. He wants to have some drinks. But while he has too many drinks, he gets into a fight. Him and some random guy, they were going at it, and you know how it goes. It was a typical bar fight. Next thing Johnny knows, the police comes up and he hands him a fake ID. The officer realizes, hey, this isn't your ID, and he gives him one more shot to give him his real one. And what does Johnny do? Instead of giving him his real ID, he hands him another fake ID. If that doesn't sum up Johnny Manziel, I don't know what does.
Birthday is 1992. This nigga just in that bitch crashing. Yo, bro. Bar fight. So imagine he hit a nigga on top of the head with a stool, right? He bing bow boom. Top of the head with a stool. Police coming to tell you, bro. Bro, where your ID at? I just want your ID, bro. You pull out a fake one. Nah, bro, this fake, gang. Where your real one? Nigga, back out another again?
You know where this is going. The police, they weren't too happy about it, so they took him to jail, and he got released the next day.
You know, that little incident happens, and I'm 4th on the depth chart, recently walking out of Bryan College Station jail, and, looking pretty bleak. And this is July.
Manziel thinks it's all cool.
So this is before the season even started?
Long story short, he winds up winning the starting job going into next year in what he said was in 11 days.
Fast forward 11 days into, college football training camp, and play great. Win the job in 11 days. We play Florida the first game.
How a man goes from the 4th-string quarterback to a starter in the SEC in only 11 days, I have no idea. But check this out.
Bro, how?
I don't even know this, and Johnny Manziel, he doesn't even speak on it a lot. He almost didn't even get to play in that Heisman-winning season. Manziel was banned from athletics for 1 year, and he was also placed on academic probation.
Win the job in 11 days, and then the day after I get named the starter, I go to this meeting in front of this review board for my behavior or whatever. Mm-hmm. I go through the meeting, tell them what happened, obviously apologize.
His family made that boss call. 11 days from 4th to 1st. You can't even do that in college football, bro. Like, in the game, that's impossible, gang. Boy, in the game, if you 4th-string, I promise you, you can go practice as much as you want to. The best thing you going to see is 3rd-string, gang. They going to keep simulating you right through them screens. And then telling you, what's it called? You want to come study with us?
Suspending me from college athletics for a year. and put me on academic suspension.
You got to really think about this. 11 days, bro. That ain't even 2 weeks. Drop the bag, gang. Johnny Manziel, come on, bro. We seeing right through this. Somebody had to drop that big boy bag. 11 days is a week and a half. How do you go from fourth string all the way to starting? On top of that, boy, you just hit a nigga on top of the head with a stool. That's what we learned today on White is Right. You can pay your way out.
Oh, shit.
So win the job one day, next day go to this meeting, think I'm just going to, slap on the wrist, something's going to happen, to getting completely banned and not even be able to play intramural athletics.
I know what you're probably sitting there wondering. Yo, Matt, obviously that didn't last, so how'd he get out of it? Basically, he was on his best behavior, and he had people watch out for him and send in good
I'm
letters
on
to
ad
A&M,
number 3.
and he got his
Hold
case
on.
reviewed. Long story short, the head people at A&M, they gave him another chance.
Shador.
Though there was already a controversy lingering around, he was named the starting quarterback for the 2012 year for the A&M Aggies, and it was on go. Against Arkansas, he broke the SEC record.
You know what? Maybe he did jump from 4th string to 11th. I mean to 1st. Maybe. Maybe, bro. I can't do this on the game. 557 yards against who?
For the A&M Aggies, and it was on go. Against Arkansas, he broke the SEC record and had 557 yards of total offense. Only 2 games later, he broke his own record.
He was doing crack. I know a crackhead when I see one. You want to see a nigga perform at his peak performance? Watch him get off crack. You've never seen a lazy crackhead, gang. Johnny, you ever see this clip, bro? You know what I'm saying? No offense, bro. Just being real, gang. This shit, you're not doing this sober, bro.
And had 576 yards of total offense. And then 2 weeks after that, he completely destroyed Auburn 63-21, and he had 5 touchdowns early in the 3rd quarter. 2 weeks after that,
Bro.
the game that changed his life forever. And
all those games didn't change nothing? See, I thought he was going to be on the type of time like leading up to the Bama game. He was just playing bad, and then Bama, he turned it around. Bro, he threw for 571 yards.
turned him from Johnny Manziel
555 the game before.
Happened. Nobody in their right mind was even expecting A&M to come close to even competing with Alabama, and they beat them 29-24. And in that game, Manziel was doing Manziel things. He finished 24 for 31, had 200.
Oh, hell nah. 24 for 31, 253, 2 touchdowns, 0 INTs.
150 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and had a QBR of 97. If that wasn't impressive enough, he also had 18 rushes for 92 yards.
The Saints could use his ass.
It was one of those few times
Either the Saints or the Panthers.
where Nick Saban Alabama-led defense didn't have any answers for a quarterback. It wasn't just Alabama or Texas A&M fans that were shocked by this. The entire country was shell-shocked. Nobody knew what to think about it. When you heard the news that a freshman quarterback went into Alabama and balled out on them and almost embarrassed them, it was hard to believe. You better believe it, though, because it wasn't.
He's doing this as a freshman?
Johnny Manziel was
Well, a
easily
redshirt
one of the most
freshman?
talented college quarterbacks of all time. That was the really fascinating part about all of this. I think most people understood it wasn't a fluke. But at the same time, those same people didn't quite understand who Johnny Manziel was. We're talking about a kid that's from a small town in Kerrville, Texas. We're talking about the same guy that wasn't even supposed to be playing this year because he was supposed to be suspended for a bar fight. We're talking about the same guy who was a 4-string quarterback at one point in time. He said it himself. From the time he left A&M to go to Bama, from the time he got back, his life
Gang, he
changed.
was a 4-string quarterback a couple weeks
From
ago.
nowhere that went from 1 second walking into one football stadium.
Ah, hell nah, Johnny. Shit. God damn, bitch. Bud Light. Newports. Nigga smoking Camels. Lord knows what's inside, man. God damn, bruh. Shit, dude. Fuck. Junk ass nigga.
Stadium is a high-end D1 college quarterback starting and having a great year. Walk into one stadium, one day, one person when I walk on the bus to go to Tuscaloosa, and a different day when you get back. Get back from class on a Monday after that, and it's just not the same. So we're talking about like fame and what like that happened for me. Bro, one day I went from sitting in a dorm room to like the next winning an award 2 months later, and having to come to LA for something and ended up at like an after party with like Justin Bieber, Floyd Mayweather, like guys who were huge people in LA, and I was fucking nothing like 2 weeks ago.
When it was all said and done,
Now that's crazy. That's crazy. You know how much motion that gotta be? You got an away game to go play Alabama. Mind you, nobody think nothing of it. And you go out there and ball out and beat them. Nah, to be fair, he was probably already motion man, bro. He just threw for 555 yards and then 572 the next week after that. Everybody already knew. At least like at Texas A&M.
The Heisman. He had a completion percentage of 68%, threw for 3,700 yards, and had 26 touchdowns to only 9 interceptions. When you talk about Mr. Johnny Football, you got to.
He'll be all right. This ain't the end of the world.
Freshman, he led the SEC in rushing as well, also beating out Todd Gurley. The fact that he outrushed Todd
Boy
Gurley
just overly sold the bag.
Georgia is astonishing to me. On the ground, he had 201 rush attempts for 1,410 yards, averaging 7.
Damn, that's a lot.
21 touchdowns. This man balled down, and I got to emphasize it. He was a freshman. I don't think anybody was even arguing that he didn't deserve the Heisman. Heading into his sophomore year, there was a lot of good stuff going for him, but there was also a lot of
Wait, he won Heisman as a freshman?
bad stuff. The good stuff is that now he's no longer a random kid. He's going to be a first-round draft pick, and all eyes are on him. The bad stuff for Manziel, ironically, was also some of the good stuff. Everybody was going to have all eyes on him and watch his every single move. He also started to develop an ego, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Anybody in that position would probably get an ego too. Everybody has an ego, especially if you're an athlete. The difference is you got to know when to hide it. And when I talk about ego, I'm not necessarily talking about how he acted on the field. I'm more talking about how he acted off the field. I can't blame him because of all the hype surrounding him. He felt invincible. He felt like he could do anything he wanted to, and he was going to get away with it. As an athlete and as a person who wins the Heisman, you probably can get away with a lot of stuff that normal people couldn't. However, you're not going to be able to get away with everything. In that offseason, heading into his second year, this is when the big allegations came out. Those allegations I'm referring to is that he was reportedly signing autographs and getting paid for it. Remember, this is around 2012 and 13. It's not 2022. Name, image, and likeness, it wasn't around. Oh man, now that I think about it, I couldn't imagine how much money he would have been making back then, but that's a different conversation for a different day. It was reported that Manziel was approached by a random person who went up to him and said, "Hey, you want to make some money? Go to this condo and sign all these autographs, and there's going to be some money for you in a safe."
You go to an airport, you're out in public. This is another thing we were talking about, like the fame, and like people come up to you. A motherfucker comes up to you and says, "Yo, I got $5,000 for you to do something. I got $12.99 in my bank account." What do you think I'm gonna say?
And now
where the bread at?
Now what you're saying is exactly in line with what's happening. This is the first.
There's no way in hell you could convince me. I don't know, but there's no way in hell you can convince me that you was down to a box combo in your bank account as a Heisman. Like, if this is true, bro, that's highway robbery. But there's no way you convince me of that, bro. There's no way. There has to be somebody. You can't even take a loan as a college player.
That's what it is, bro.
I'm sorry. That might be one of my favorite Johnny Manziel clips of all time. He said, "Yo, where the bread at?" On his series.
No NIL? Bro, that is robbery. Like, that's so nasty. Nigga down to $12.99.
Just note, he's right. These college athletes, they do have $13, $14 in their bank account. You think they're going to turn down $5,000 to $10,000? That's why I do agree with this name, image, and
couldn't even get a side job, bro. You shouldn't be, man. Them boys was getting scammed, bro. It got to be a way you can sue the college football committee nowadays, even if you're not in college no more. Like somebody like Johnny Manziel, it needs to be a way he can sue him, gang. Bro, y'all got to pay me something, gang. This messed up.
For that reason, right?
You went Heisman and got $12 in your bank account. You went Heisman, can't even go get gas, bro. Can't even go get dinner for himself.
Fair. I don't really think it's fair for all these universities to rake in millions of dollars because of these players like Johnny Manziel, and they don't even get a dime of it. I do think the NIL, it is starting to get out of hand, but...
And then Johnny ain't even reaped the actual benefits. Usually, you going to reap the benefits and go to the league, at least go like first round draft pick, get you a good contract. At least then you could get some M's. But boy, imagine how much they made off of Johnny Manziel compared to how much he made, period, just off of football. Under or over $20 million. 45 gang? Yeah, that's so nasty, bro. I ain't gonna care. It'll be hard for me to stay sober after that one, Johnny. Like, no bullshit. You know how hard it'll be for me to stay sober after knowing that they made 45 M's off of me and I got 1290 in my bank account?
Tim Tebow are on that category. Okay,
That's
so
so
if you're
nasty.
confused, let me explain it. Some random guy goes up to Manziel and says, hey, if you sign 10,000 items, I'll give you $3,000, and he agrees to it.
This guy comes out behind me. He's like, yo, how would you want to make $3,000? I'll turn around. I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. I got like $65 in my bank account. I'm waiting on that, beginning of the month, January stipend check.
Yeah.
And I had one of my boys take this guy's number. We're doing it all sneaky. We don't want to get caught. We're trying to learn from everybody else that's got caught.
Yeah.
And, may or may not have gone back to this guy's condo and signed probably 10,000 pieces.
But then while he's signing all this stuff, one of the guys who's handing him the stuff to sign says, hey, dude, you're getting ripped off. There's a guy that'll give you $30,000 to do the same stuff. You know what, Matt? Why don't you show it to him? Roll the clip.
I'm signing these autographs, and this other guy who's like bringing the pictures over. He's like, yo, you're fucking ripped off. Here's this guy's number. Hit him up. He'll give you $30,000. And I'm like, fuck yeah, man. I'm going to make 3 and then 30. I'm going to get out of here with $33,000.
Here's where you can kind of sit back and go, yeah, Manziel, he's not the brightest apple out of the bunch. Is that how that saying goes? I don't know. It's something like that. There's no way any person in those same shoes would think they'd somehow get away with this and nobody would know. Eventually, the NCAA would pick up onto it, and they couldn't prove everything, but they just suspended him for the first half of the season opener against Rice. What you do, you're suspending him not even for the entire game, but the first half against Rice, where he'll probably come in the second half and destroy them, and that's
Dude, it's Rice, bro.
The clips I just showed you, that's not from 2012 and 2013.
But I don't even think the NCAA could be that mad, bro. It's like y'all still making 45 M's just off of my jersey alone. That's not including tickets, everything else. It's like, bro, gang, even if I'm breaking the rules, gang, just let him get his little 33 bands.
Those are from a couple of years ago. Actually, I think it's 1.5 years ago. He openly admitted that he got paid $30,000 a month to sign all those autographs at a condo.
Damn.
So this guy pretty much is like, all right, go to this room at the Fontainebleau. All the stuff will be in there laid out, and when you're done, just send me a picture of all of it. I'll give you the code of the safe. The money will be in there. Probably for the next 4 months, I went to that fucking condo once a month in fucking South Beach, knocked that shit out. I got to make a somewhat of a decent living in college, and we went 9-4 the next year. So if the NCAA wants to take my fucking 9-4 season away and my Chick-fil-A bowl against Duke, fucking below me.
But just like he said, if the NCAA wants to take away their 9-4 season,
did he get paid though?
Nobody really cares.
He said he got $30,000 a month for the next 4 months.
If they won a championship or anything,
that's 120.
I do sympathize with him. He's at A&M. He's bringing in all these fans and all this money, yet he's got $15 in his bank account. So he, rightfully so, feels entitled to making money off of his name, and that should be a real thing. If someone is willing to pay you for your autograph, I think you should get paid for it. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't see the problem with it, but like I said, that is an entirely different conversation for a different day. Although I think you should get paid, at the time it was against the rules. And if the NCAA would have found out that information that's been out there now, they probably would have suspended him the entire season. And
that doesn't even make sense. Y'all would just lose money. The NCAA were really just pimping these niggas out for the time being, bro. You can't make no money off of me, but I can make all the bread off of you, and you're going to go out there and go play.
That's where it's a big deal, because if he doesn't play in that second year, he might have fell in the NFL draft to the 3rd, 2nd, or even the 4th round. The reason I think he was dumb for doing that at the time is because he was risking the long-term money, and I'm talking about NFL money, for the short-term money. As long as you don't do something insane that could put you in jail, if you win a Heisman and you only have to play 1 more year of college football, you're going to be a first-round pick. You know in about 6 to 8 months, and he knew it at the time, he was going to be a multi-millionaire. So why risk it for $30,000? That's my counter argument to it, and that's just one example where you can say, yeah, Manziel, what are you thinking, man? Like I said, he only got suspended for the first half of a game, and you could make a legit case and argument that his second year was better than his first year. The only reason his first year was so glorified, in my opinion, is because they upset Alabama. His second year, if you look at the stats, it was better. He jumped up all of his numbers. His completion percentage was 70%. He had 4,100 passing yards and 37 touchdowns to 13 interceptions.
300 completions out of 429. Basically, you don't fucking miss. Wasn't Joe Burrow's like 70 something? Or did I just make that up? 37 touchdowns, 13 INTs.
Receptions. His rating went from a 155 his freshman year to a 172 his sophomore year. On the ground, if you are curious, he only had 750 yards and 9 touchdowns. I know, that's so terrible, right? He was very good and he was very talented, but there was one thing about him that concerned a lot of people. He was a risky pick. We haven't even gotten to the bad stuff he's done. What he did in the NFL compared to the college level, it's nothing. Some even labeled him as the most polarizing athlete in NFL draft history. Check out what a former NFL head coach had to say about him. Quote unquote, I don't like his antics. I think he's an arrogant little prick. I've said that and I'll say it again. If that right there doesn't tell you what you need to know about Johnny Manziel, I don't know what will. There wasn't no in between. You either really liked him or you really hated him. There was a ton, and I mean a ton of concern surrounding this kid, and everybody knew that.
Fuck, that nigga's completion rate was a 77.9.
I hope this really justifies just how talented he was. Even with all the risk that goes with picking him, he was selected with the 22nd overall pick in the first round by the Cleveland Browns. If this guy wouldn't have gotten all the off-the-field controversies, I think he could have been the first overall pick. Right after he got drafted, the problems, they started to roll in. In 2014, in a preseason game, he got fined $12,000 for flipping off a fan. In his first year for the Browns, he didn't do much. He completed 18 out of 35 pass attempts, completing right at 51%, had 0 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Not too much to talk about. But in his second year, this is when things started to happen. The following year, 2015, aka his second year in the NFL, it wasn't too much better. One of the bright sides of the season against the Steelers, they did lose, but he was 33 for 45 and had 372 passing yards and 1 touchdown. Overall for the year, he only appeared in 9 games in which he started 6 of them, and he had a completion percentage of 58 and threw for 1,500 yards with 7
touchdowns, 129 out of 223, 1,500 yards.
touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Here's a key part to our story though. Shortly after that Pittsburgh game, he was announced as the starting quarterback for the rest of the season. That was a good thing because all throughout the year he was switching in and out with Josh McCown, and he didn't have that stability at the quarterback position. He always had a guy looking over his shoulder, and he was also coming off of the bench. And whenever you're in a situation when you're having to battle for that quarterback spot, it adds a little more pressure. Well, finally, when he was named as the official starter for the rest of the year, everybody was like, okay, this
sound kind of like Shador.
We're going to find out if he's going to be our next great quarterback, or we're also going to find out if he's a bust. And well, Johnny Manziel, this is where his life and his football career takes a drastic turn for the worse. Not too long after he was named starting quarterback, he was then demoted to the 3rd string. He got demoted because there was videos leaked out of him partying in Texas over the bye week. It wasn't a big deal that he was partying. I mean, I'm sure they weren't happy with it, but that wasn't the main reason he got demoted. The reason the Browns were pissed off by this is because he was lying to them. They asked him about the videos, and he said that was from a couple of years ago. Taking it to another level, he also told his friends if the Browns asked about it, tell them and lie about it that it was also from a year or two ago. He did wind up playing a little more later in the year, but at that point in time, a lot of people were so frustrated with him, it didn't even matter. He was carrying over that childish attitude he had at A&M to the NFL, and that doesn't work out because at college you can get away with it, but the NFL, this is a business. They're giving you money. And the last thing an organization wants to do is be giving a young guy who's immature a ton of money. This was also really concerning, not just from a football standpoint, but from a personal standpoint for Manziel. In this video that was leaked out, he was holding put 2 and 2 together. The last thing you want to be doing after rehabbing from a alcohol addiction is drinking alcohol. But hold on, it gets even more interesting. Before their final game, he was seen at a Las Vegas bar and he was gambling. To be more specific, he was seen at the Planet Hollywood Casino in Las Vegas. Technically, he wasn't even going to be playing with the Browns in the next day because he got a quote-unquote concussion. But from a Browns standpoint, you got to look at it like this. It's not exactly pleasing to see one of your quarterbacks at a bar literally hours before kickoff. I think we can all agree. At this point in time, things are already looking bad for Manziel.
Yeah, if he was nice, nobody would have cared. Gilbert Arenas was going stupid, but see, Gilbert was Gilbert. James Harden was known for being in them Houston clothes, but James Harden is James Harden. I think it's the fact that, first off, he mediocre about it, and then they caught him lying.
A couple months
That's
after
a bad look.
It was then reported that Johnny Manziel ruptured his ex-girlfriend's eardrum.
What the fuck is you doing, dude? You done beat the bitch?
Apparently, nothing ever came out of it, and they couldn't prove anything. But at the time in 2016, Manziel agreed to pay her $12,500 in attorney fees and also agreed to not be around her for 2 years. According to his girlfriend, or whatever they were at the time, here's what she had to say. I jumped out of the car and ran across the street and hid behind some bushes. He flipped a U-turn and pulled right into where I was hiding. He grabbed me by my hair and threw me back into the car. According to the girl, that is when Manziel hit her in the head and hit her left ear. Allegedly, Manziel also said, "Shut up or I'll kill us both." How true is all this? I don't know. It's a he said,
what?
she said. I'm saying according a lot because none of it was ever really proven, but the girl also said she couldn't hear in her ears for months. Or not ears, but one of her ears, the left one. Here's my take on that situation. Although it may have never happened, it made it look 10 times worse because all the other terrible stuff that was happening in Johnny Manziel's life at the time. Let me give you a good example. That'd be the equivalent to me robbing 3 banks, and then a couple months after, I'm being accused of robbing another bank. Maybe I didn't do it, but you can't lie. You're gonna believe the people because I did it before. That's where I'm trying to go with this. A lot of people weren't in Manziel's favor because of all the bad stuff he did leading up to it. A couple months after all that was going on, his agent at the time terminated his contract, and he was no longer going to represent him. That's a big deal because it's not every day you see an agent terminate a contract with a client.
Nigga, the agent gave up on you. The agent gave up? Damn, bro.
Coincidentally enough, on the same day his agent left him, Nike ended their sponsorship with Manziel. I want you to keep in mind, everything I'm talking about is happening in between 2015 and 2016. What makes all this even more interesting, Manziel's attorney at the time...
What's y'all guess? My guess is he finna pick up that bottle, gang. He finna pick up that bottle. It's finna get even worse.
Accidentally sent a paragraph that leaked information that Manziel spent $1,000 at a drugstore. How did you...
Dude. After... Bro, what? Manziel may have spent more than $1,000 at a drug paraphernalia store 15 hours after he was involved in a hit and run crash. Dude.
Your agent leak a text that you spent $1,000 at a drugstore? I have no idea. Before we go any farther, I want you to think about it. It's not one bad thing he did. It's not two bad things. It's bad thing after bad thing after bad thing, and it continues to go on and on and on. When that information was leaked out about the drugs, here's what his dad had to tell some people at ESPN. He's a druggie. It's not a secret that he's a druggie. I don't know what to say other than my son is a druggie, and he needs help. He just hasn't seeked it yet. Hopefully he doesn't die before he comes to his senses. That's about all you can say. I don't know what else to say.
There ain't no way you spent $1,000 on loud, bro. Because like at that point you buying the whole, what's that? That's a pound, guy. Somewhere close to a pound. Ain't no way you buying a pound. What you gonna do with all that for yourself? Boy, he was in there. He must have buying. He was buying exotic shit. Had that been shrooms or it had to have been everything. What else they selling in the store? Well, it depends on where it's at, ain't it?
He also added, I hate to say it, but I hope he goes to jail. I mean, that would be the best place for him. So we'll see. And then last but not least, I truly believe if they can't get him help, he won't live to see his 24th birthday. Wow.
They ain't selling coke from a storefront? But you go in there and go buy all types of shit. Yeah, you go buy a bong, you go in there and buy hookah, you go in there and buy shrooms, you could go in there and buy, you feel me? You keep going, bro.
Oh man, if your dad is saying some stuff like that about you, you got problems. You could do some terrible things, and your parents out of everybody, they're gonna have your back. When it starts to get to the point where your parents are saying you're gonna die before you're 24 and you belong in jail, that's terrible. Let me put it this way. It doesn't get too much worse than that. After all the allegations came out with the girl and then this drug problem going on March 11th in 2016, this is when the Browns released him. And that was the end to his NFL career, but it wasn't the end to his football career, and there is still a lot more to his story. I'm going to remind you, we are still in 2016. Since the Browns released him and he wasn't playing football, he had two things: a lot of time and a lot of money on his hands. With Johnny Manziel not being the most responsible person ever, his bad decisions, they would continue to happen. In early June...
Oh, he still got a bag? Johnny Manziel career earnings $5.5 million. He also earned an estimated $10 million from endorsements. Okay, so like $15 million bag. I wouldn't be surprised if he went broke.
In 2016, he would rent out an expensive rental home in LA. The place he rented out was over 5,000 square feet, and he was only there for a couple of days, 2 nights to be specific. The guy he rented it from said that if over 15 people come, you got to pay a $5,000 fine, and Manziel agreed to it. Right there alone, that's a stupid decision, paying a $5,000 fee just to have over 15 people. But hey, he had the money, so I guess it wasn't a big deal at the time.
Yo, bro, I be wanting to run into people that are this green. Like, I be hoping and praying I run into somebody this green.
It didn't turn out to be all so good. The police actually showed up to the place he was staying at because of noise complaints. Manziel did not check out on time, so the guy that owned it was like, okay, what's going on? And he went up to the place and said this. Manziel was passed out. There was cocaine all over the kitchen table, and mushrooms were still out on the table in front of him. There was booze everywhere, broken glasses over the floor, and a champagne glass in a tree. How does a champagne glass get in a tree? I don't know. I just want you guys to try to imagine this. This guy was a Heisman Trophy winner, and only a couple years later, he's passed out in the middle of the floor. Drugs all around him, champagne bottles and trees. Man, life hits you fast. The guy that owned the place sent a letter to Manziel's lawyer and demanded over $31,000. I'm telling you, I said it at the start of this video. If you didn't know who this guy was, you would think he was a fictional character in a movie. There could be a movie or book written about him, and I wouldn't believe it if I didn't know who he was. There was also a bunch of little stuff that went on that I haven't talked about. I'll mention some of them right here. There was an incident where he went to see Drake at a club, and he was getting pushed, and he turned around and swung on a random dude, and he got kicked out of the club. It's just little stuff like that, and if we talk about every little minor incident, this would be a 10-hour video. How about this one? Manziel was supposed to fly out to see his family on Memorial Day weekend, and they were supposed to fly out and go to a party, but he missed his flight. His family members and friends, they tried reaching him for 15 minutes and just decided they were going to have to go on without him. With Manziel having an abysmal NFL career, it's safe to say that no other team wanted to give him a shot. We're now in the time frame around early 2017 where he was still willing to play football. There was a problem with this. The NFL, like I said, they're not going to give him a shot, so he had to try some other league.
Man, gang, what the fuck is this for? What's this photo, bro?
2017, he tried joining the Hamilton Tiger Cats out of the Canadian Football League. He played in the Canadian League for a couple of years, but on March 16th in 2019, he joined the Memphis Express. If you don't know who the Memphis Express is, it's basically the AAF, the Alliance of American Football. He joined that league, and he's also currently playing in the fan-controlled football league, and he's also played in the XFL. Oh, wait, my bad. I don't actually...
But the reason why it's so hard to feel bad for him is it's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, these aren't just unforeseen circumstances. He choosing to do this.
I think he played for the XFL. That's my fault. Or did he? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. I can't really remember that.
Hell,
It's not
Johnny.
a big part to our story, because even if he did, the league had to shut down because of COVID. With all that being said, that is the up-to-date on Johnny Manziel's football career, but it still leaves us with the question we haven't figured out. Why did he fail? Who better than Johnny Manziel himself to tell us why he failed?
Straight crashing.
If you put in $10 in, you get $10 out. And that's the way my NFL career went. I didn't put what I needed to, heart, soul, everything that I did in college, into the NFL. Because I didn't like certain things about it.
So why do you think?
That's respectable. That's like the only respectable thing I done seen from this video. At least he kept it a buck, gang.
I think I was more enamored with like the fame and the aspect of living the lifestyle and doing the shit.
You were having fun.
I think it got to the point where I got like so famous to the point where it was like I enjoyed that side of it way more than I enjoyed the work side of it. And I think I enjoyed the play 50 times more.
Nah, I fuck
than
with
enjoyed the
Johnny,
work.
man.
And I did the work as long as I could, and it wasn't enough. And that's what it'll always be.
Say what you want about Manziel, but he owns up to his mistakes, and I respect him for that. He openly admitted and said the truth. He didn't put in what he needed to be successful. In the same interview, he would later go on to say that he failed.
At that point in time of where I was at in life, I failed.
Yeah.
Flopped. I didn't make it and be what I needed to be successful. And I flopped. I failed. I wasn't good enough at that point in my time to get to where I needed to be. Let me start over. Let me try again. You just look in the camera and say, yo, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I apologize. My bad. I'm going to keep it moving.
Yeah.
You guys want to rock with me? Rock with me. If
And
not, it is what it is. And that's what you do with life, bro.
I know I just said it, but I gotta say it again.
Yeah.
At least he's not one of those guys who tries to make up excuses for himself. He's putting it out there.
It's
that he
good,
didn't work hard,
Johnny.
He didn't do what he should have done.
Really, to
Like,
be
what
real,
successful.
bro.
Maybe not for you, but for me.
I think he could sell this whole story to Netflix for $20 million, bro, and cash out. This shit is hilarious, gang. It's like the story of a dickhead quarterback that has skill, gang.
One question I've had over the past couple of years is like, okay, he's not playing football anymore, so what's he doing? I understand he made a couple $1 million in the NFL, but the way he was spending money, he probably blew through that cash. So for the longest, I've been thinking, what in the crap is he doing? And he answered that.
I don't know what I want to do.
That's how most people feel.
I've been chilling, trying to figure it out, playing golf, sitting outside with my boys, trying to catch energy from people and figure out what I want to do and what really makes me happy.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out what really makes me happy.
I've spent a lot of time watching different podcasts, and he's relatively said the same thing in every one. He doesn't know what he wants to do right now. The only thing he really enjoys is playing golf. He's even stated golf is the only thing that has gotten him out of bed some days. I don't want to say that's sad, but I think we can agree it kind of is.
It's I think he finding his way finally. I'll be seeing him on social media a lot more.
Millions of dollars to being depressed in your bed, and we all go through it. I don't believe there's a single person out there who hasn't felt sad at least a couple of days out of the year. It's really nice to see this side of Johnny
No
Manziel,
cap.
He's being real with all of us. I don't have too much sympathy for him on the football field because he blatantly ruined his own career, but as a person, I do. You got to think about it. Look at all the pressure that was put on him and all the eyes that were on him at a young age of 18 or 19. I'm going to show you two more clips. In one of them, he talks about how he doesn't even want to play football anymore.
I think for a while is what I was put here to do, and now I don't believe that, so I don't want to play. I don't think it's truly what I'm put here to do. So that's what I've been trying to figure it out
That's crazy.
and see what I want to do. And I don't know what that is still.
As crazy as it sounds, if you're not an athlete, you may not be able to relate to it, but if you are, you probably do relate to it. I can almost guarantee you there's a bunch of people watching this video who, if you play basketball, baseball, football, you got burnt out on it. If you start playing football, baseball, basketball from the age 7 to 16, 17, or 18,
Yeah, bro.
Burnt out before they even leave high school. So you can definitely see how Johnny.
All the real hoopers know, gang. Yes, this is exactly how it goes, bro. Man, bro. But like, it's different though. Like, I knew it wasn't for me because it's like I blew that layup, and that was like, man, I'm done with this. I couldn't do this no more. I've been hooping for too long, bro. I don't even want to do it no more. I don't even find joy in this. But if this nigga would have put them coke lines down and that Don Julio down, he would have been great. He was talented, but obviously not made for football because he only fought with the bread and the fame.
Fell out of love with the game. And when you fall out of love
Yeah.
with the game, that's when you're not as disciplined. And when you're not as disciplined, that's when you start falling off. In these interviews, a lot of people have said funny stuff about Johnny Manziel, and let's take a look at some of them. Ross L. said, "There's nothing like regretting choosing partying over football while smoking a blunt, cigarette, and drinking a beer." Another one says, and this is the best one, "I feel like Johnny asked the host if he could bar 20."
Dude, I seen a vape in his hand too in that interview. He going, Lord knows what Johnny going through, bro. That nigga blowing every and anything. See, there it go right there. I think that's a jewel, ain't it? Boy got a vape. Well, Lord knows what's in this cup. Camel cigarettes. Bud Light in a soda can. Backwood almost rolled up. Still got to lick it a little bit. Then I seen some Newports over there. Damn.
And I don't know what that is still.
As crazy as it sounds, if you're not
That boy Johnny one-on-one, man. He one-on-one.
You got burnt out before that's when you're not as good as some of them. Ross L said, "There's nothing like regretting choosing partying over football while smoking a blunt, cigarette, and drinking a beer." LOL. Another one says, and this is the best one, "I feel like Johnny asked the host if he could borrow $20 after the interview." This might be the best one. "Johnny looks like a construction worker that's in his last hour of his shift and started drinking. I gotta be honest, just look at him right here. He doesn't look like a football player that was lighting up defenses. How do I say this in the nicest way possible? Manziel looks like a combination of an..."
Nah, he don't look like he fell off. Like, you can't. I wouldn't be able to tell just off looking at his face. It still look like he in good shape. I mean, like, you know, whenever you off crack, bro, no funny shit. Like, you can't gain weight. You're never gonna see a fat crackhead. Yeah, it suppresses your hunger.
Alcoholic and a construction worker, yet he has the talent of an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady. It doesn't make sense, and it's a recipe for disaster. Let me go back on that statement. He has the talent of some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but he has the mindset of a frat boy, and I think that fits him perfectly. He has the attitude of a frat bro at a college. It's not like he developed this partying lifestyle in the NFL. He was doing it at A&M. Speaking of that,
yeah, he lived life like them Sigma Chi motherfuckers, gang.
Let's roll the last clip, and I think this gives you a better perspective.
I just want to be one of them bros. Just walking the streets. Guys ask me why we're here in Nashville. It's like, yo, what are you doing out here, man? I'm like, there's Memorial Day weekend. I'm trying to come out, have some fun with my boys the same way you are. Yeah. Trying to just have a good time. That's it. There's nothing else to it. Just a guy trying to have a beer at Florida Georgia Line Bar and eat some queso.
I think that was the perfect ending clip to end this video. I honestly feel like he's a cool guy to be around, and like he said, he just wants to be one of the bros. Quote of the year: "I'm just trying to have a drink at the Florida Georgia Line Bar and eat some queso." There may not be another quarterback in history of college or the NFL level that normal people can relate to more than Johnny. You kind of also get the vibe that Manziel, him being famous, it almost seems like an accident. I don't believe in all this metaverse nonsense, but if there is a second Johnny Manziel out there, I can guarantee you he's just a regular construction worker that's smoking cigarettes. The best way to describe it is that he just so happened to be a super talented guy with a terrible mindset for a quarterback. You may want to party and go out and drink and do the stuff he did, but you can't do that if you're trying to be
This nigga said I probably should have just hated on him.
a quarterback in the NFL. I'm very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. For me personally,
There's really no excuse for him not to succeed. Anyways, bro, damn. Johnny football, bro. Johnny GOAT football. Yeah, this should most definitely be a movie that's... If it was a Johnny Manziel movie, would y'all go watch it, bro?